A lot of people don't know about this. You essentially troll Stephen A. Smith. I gotta talk
Yes.
about this. You essentially troll Stephen A. Smith. So, actually, walk us through this.
Okay.
How did you even think of this idea? How did you get on the show with Stephen A. Smith?
Like I mentioned before, I'm a big NBA guy. I love basketball. I love sports. And originally, before the Stephen A. thing, before the second toaster wave, I started making NBA shorts, NBA content to just kind of try to build a following on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. So I made these NBA videos, and I was actually in the middle of editing an NBA video when I was lucky enough to see a Stephen A. tweet. It was like, call the show now if you're cool, or some shit like that. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So I called right away, and I was lucky enough to get through. And I was like, okay, what's my question? Because they asked me, what's my name, what's my question right away. And I was like, oh my God, I had no question. And I just really thought quickly. I was like, what can I ask? What can I ask? I saw on NBA Twitter. NBA Twitter's awesome. I love engaging with NBA Twitter, but I saw there was like a common notion or like meme around acting like Lightning McQueen was this NBA superstar. Like, oh, he's at 7 Piston Cups. You've probably seen like memes like that and stuff before.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like to that big level. Like, obviously Stephen A. is mainstream. So I was like, okay, well, I actually made a video about Lightning McQueen earlier that week. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ask him this question and phrase it. It's actually the same exact phrasing that I used in this YouTube short. That was the question I pitched him. I was like, you think about Jordan was 6, Brady was 7, where do you rank a guy like Lightning McQueen? And the thing was, I was on hold for like 40 minutes, pacing around my room. My pits were sweating crazy. But I was pacing around my room because they were like, we like your question, we're going to go ahead with it. And I was like, okay, well, 20 minutes goes by. I was like, okay, I'm going to set up my camera and start recording. And then I had to listen through to the whole show up until it gets to the questions at the end.
Yeah.
But I was prepared. And then I started like making like little notes about, okay, I can bring this up, I guess. I don't know what he's going to come at me with, but I had like a couple notes written down. And then also it was so scary because this was, if you remember, Snoop Dogg quit smoking to promote this like stove.
Right.
And on this call that I'm on hold for like an hour, every 5 minutes Snoop Dogg's voice comes up. He's like, I quit smoking. And I'm like, what the hell? So every 5 minutes my heart jumps. I think it's Stephen A. or I think it's the producer talking to me, but it's just Snoop Dogg over and over. So I kept getting trolled by Snoop Dogg. But then, yeah, Stephen A. came about on the microphone and he's like, Danny from Wisconsin, boom. And there it was.
That's lit. That's lit. So on that Stephen A. Smith, so after that segment, interview, whatever you want to call it, ended, did you hear anything back from him? Did you hear anything from producers, or did you just, next thing you saw was it kind of going viral because he reposted it on Twitter, right?
Yeah, so actually I did have to like it was kind of crazy because that was the day right before I left to go home for Thanksgiving break. I go to school like 3 hours away. So I essentially did the Stephen A. thing. I recorded my point of view, but I didn't upload it anywhere. And then I left 3 hours to go home for Thanksgiving break. And that was just a terrible, horrible mistake because I was watching the new Hunger Games with my brothers at the movie theater. And I went to the bathroom and I checked my phone. And I got a notification from Bleacher Report saying, hey, can you please send us a full video? We'll give you credit and repost it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just sold 3 hours of my life because I didn't upload it anywhere. So I had to drive back the next morning at 6 a.m. I had to drive to my computer 3 hours away, upload this video. I clipped it out myself and stuff. Then I sent it off to them, and then I drove 3 hours back for Blackout Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and then I went to the bars, had a good time, and then as I was at the bars, it was on ESPN, and it was reposted on all their pages. That was cool.
That's lit. Yeah, that's a dope story. That's a fun. Listen, that's gonna go down. Give it a year, 2 years, 3, whatever it is. Once you hit that, once you hit your blow up, bro, you're gonna be able to look back on that story and be like, that's a dope story.